My stepdad changed the locks on my 18th birthday, so I moved in next door overnight. What do you think of parents who kick a kid out the minute they turn 18? My neighbor Marco got that treatment, and it was ugly. We live in a working class area where most seniors start working right away, but Marco was the quiet kid who wanted engineering. His room was full of sketches, blueprints, and little models made from scraps. His mom used to hype him up and tell everyone he'd build something big one day. Then she died from cancer 2 years ago, and after that his stepdad Dave stopped pretending to be nice. Dave hated the drawings and called them junk, and he kept saying Marco needed real work. Marco kept his grades perfect anyway, and kept applying for schools, like he was trying to outrun that house. On a freezing February day, Marco turned 18. He went to school like normal. When he came back, his key wouldn't work. He tried again, then looked up and saw Dave in the driveway stuffing black trash bags into his pickup. Marco asked what was going on. Dave didn't even turn around. He kept tossing bags like Marco wasn't there. He said, "You're 18. You're a man. Figure it out." The garage door was open, and Marco could see his bed taken apart, his desk, his clothes, and boxes stacked like they were already trash. Marco said, "I've got acceptance letters and full scholarships, and I just need a place to stay until graduation." Dave finally faced him and said, "College is for rich kids and dreamers, and I got you a spot at the construction site. That's the plan." Marco's voice shook when he said, "That's not my plan." Dave shrugged like it didn't matter. Marco asked if he could at least grab his laptop and paperwork from inside. Dave pointed to the garage and said, "It's all there." Marco reached for a bag, and the plastic tore. Clothes spilled onto the cold concrete. Dave gave this short laugh, like he'd been waiting for Marco to look small. Marco scooped the clothes up, grabbed a folder of papers, and walked away with his shoulders tight. That night, around 9, Marco rang our bell. He had a duffel bag, and that same folder hugged to his chest. He said, "I don't have anywhere else to go." My mom pulled him in, set up the pull-out couch, and handed him a plate of food. My dad said, "We're getting the rest of your stuff tonight." We drove over before Dave could dump it. The garage was still open, and Marco's things were piled in a corner. Marco moved fast, grabbing boxes, a shoebox of sketches, and a cracked model he'd been working on. Dave came out and snapped, "You're stealing from my house." My dad stood between them and said, "Calm. Those are his things. Back up." Dave pointed at the drawings and said, "None of that pays rent." Marco didn't argue. He just kept loading, jaw clenched, eyes wet, like he was scared one wrong word would make Dave throw everything in the street. We got the last box in, shut the trunk, and left. After that, the neighborhood rallied around him. Our school counselor helped him file as independent for financial aid since Dave wouldn't sign anything. Mr. Guzman at the local garage gave Marco weekend work so he'd have money for basics. A widow down the block hemmed a suit jacket so he'd look decent for interviews. Marco did his part too. He cleaned up after dinner, took out the trash, and never acted like he was doing us a favor. He'd study at our table late, then wake up early for school. I'd find him asleep on the couch with a math book open and a pencil still in his hand. Dave didn't let it go. He'd drive past our house slow, staring. One afternoon, he waited near the school and called Marco over like he owned him. I heard Dave say, "You're embarrassing me. People are saying my son's homeless and begging." Marco said, "I'm not begging. I'm working, and I'm going to college." Dave shook his head and said, "That's not real work. You'll fail and come back." Marco turned and walked off, but his hands were shaking. The closer graduation got, the tighter he looked, like he was holding himself together with tape. 2 weeks before the ceremony, Dave showed up at our door after dark. I opened it, and the smell of beer hit me. Dave wasn't falling over, but he was loud and mean. He pointed straight at Marco and said, "Look at you, living on someone's couch like a charity case." Marco stood up slowly. Dave stepped closer and said, "You think you're better than me with those letters, and your mother filled your head with nonsense." Marco's face went stiff at the mention of his mom. My mom told Dave to stop, but Dave kept pushing. "Come to the site tomorrow," he said. "Drop the college act and earn your keep." My dad stepped between them. "You need to leave," he said. Dave looked past him and hissed at Marco. "First semester you'll be crawling back." Marco swallowed and stared right at Dave. "I found people who actually support me, and I'm not coming back," he said. Dave froze, then turned and stomped off our porch to his truck. Now he's saying I'm ungrateful for leaving. Was I wrong to walk away?